Carly, I want to congratulate you on 10 successful years of Definitive Results. And I know it's been an exciting time for you. And I think our audience would love to hear the Definitive Results story. So I was hoping maybe we could chat through kind of how you got started in marketing automation, how and when you decided to start Definitive Results, and then kind of the experience and the growth you've seen since the start 10 years ago. So we want to start right there at the very beginning, your marketing automation career journey. Before we get into the Definitive Results side of things, how did you get started in marketing automation?
Yeah, so I was always kind of the technologist within the marketing department. I was the one that would talk to IT and translate it back to marketing and sort of help execute projects. So I was working at AOL in marketing analysis, and an old boss asked me to come back and run a position that was later known as marketing operations, but we didn't even know the term to use at that point. And when I went back, she said, we need a new email platform. So I went out and I started doing my research, and I came across marketing automation, and I was just blown away. I said, there's no way we implement some basic email tool, and this is clearly the future of marketing. And she said I was crazy, but sort of heard me out, and I made the business case to my VP of marketing at the time and the president of the company, and they agreed that we should move forward with that. Of course, I went through the whole vendor selection. We landed on a vendor, and then the president came back and said, "Oh, did I forget to mention that we need to be in line with the 4 sister companies? You should all use the same technology." And I thought, oh my gosh, here we go again. So we started the search all over, but now I already knew what I wanted, and I was trying to get everybody on board. I did, and yeah, I mean, what ended up happening at that point is I had now put my name next to this giant budget item that they didn't initially intend. And not just for my own marketing team, but for the 4 sister companies. And my marketing team had 25 people on it, but some of these other companies had 2 people on their marketing team. And they weren't going to quickly learn a marketing automation platform and make sure it was successful, but I still felt like it was my name that was going to be success or failure. So I started a grassroots effort there to just kind of get us all on weekly calls and share lessons learned, and help each other kind of learn and adopt the system to make sure that everybody would be successful. But it's sort of from that point on, all I really wanted to focus on was marketing automation, and I had these other jobs within my job description. So I was just excited to try to find a way to focus solely on marketing automation.
Obviously, you loved doing that at that company, and eventually it kind of matriculates into you starting your own marketing automation company. How did you come to make that decision, having loved it and kind of gotten your feet wet with marketing automation at that first company, to decide to start your own business?
So that was not an easy decision. I'm not the biggest risk taker, even though people will just sort of make that assumption. The company that I was working for had a ton of changes. It was clear that I needed to figure out what my next step was going to be. At the same time, a lot of people were moving on to new roles, and I had friends and people in my network reaching out saying, hey, we're using this marketing automation tool at my new company. Could you help? And so I started to scratch my head, and after I'm having all these conversations with people in my network at different companies who want my help, I said, I wonder if I could do this and at least cover my salary, and just sort of be a contractor on my own. And kind of Adam and I had to huddle and figure that out. Quite honestly, I don't know if I would have had the courage to do it, but Adam knows how to speak to me, and it was, let's create a spreadsheet and look at the numbers. And I figured out what I would need to do, and so I stepped out and took the leap and started Definitive Results, not really sure where it would go or what it would turn into.
Yeah, so you make that leap and you get started on Definitive Results. You go through year 1, year 2, year 3. How did the growth trajectory kind of happen, and what have you seen change for Definitive Results over these last 10 years?
So much has changed. Yeah. And I don't think I could have predicted it 10 years ago. I guess none of us can really predict these things. But I would say, let's see, in 2012 is when we started. So February 2012. And it was just sort of a one-man, one-woman consulting show. And by the end of that year, we became an official Eloqua partner. And we, somewhere around there, shortly after, moved into hiring our first employee. And then sort of fast forward to, of course, a lot changed in the industry over these years as well, that impacts sort of how everything plays out. But in 2015, we became a Marketo partner, and in 2017, we became a HubSpot partner. So really, just looking, I think the impetus for those moves was always looking at what's happening within the world of marketing automation, and so always keeping up to date on the newer systems that are rising and sort of competing with each other, and making sure, primarily focusing on the clients to say, where do they need us? What do they need us to know, and how are we best going to help them? And so the reason for the new partnerships became because not everybody's using Eloqua, and we have existing clients who are going to companies and they're using Marketo. So let's jump in there. And then likewise with HubSpot. And so we've sort of grown as the industry has grown, and as those tools have really stepped up their games to compete in a big way with each other.
What does it mean to be a partner with these companies? Like, what advantage does that give a company that's looking to hire Definitive Results to be working directly with an Eloqua partner or a Marketo or a HubSpot partner?
So generally it means, one, that we're taking tests. We have experts on the team who are taking tests to get certified, to say, the company is basically saying, okay, you've proved yourself, you know this platform. The other piece of it is that we do then get insight into product roadmap, any kind of upcoming changes. And so we're able to help our clients navigate that, anticipate it, help them figure out if there's, a beta feature coming out that might be great for them. Would they like to become a part of that?
Yeah, and obviously the partnerships are such a big deal with those companies, and then partnerships just across the industry in general. How big of a role do partnerships with these these major players in marketing automation, as well as the other businesses and other partners you work with, how big of an impact does that have on being able to successfully deliver the results that your clients are looking for?
I mean, I think it's really helpful. Primarily the expertise is helpful, right? And the more instances that we work in, the more we're able to anticipate any roadblocks, to help people troubleshoot in a way where we can say, yeah, that's a valid solution, but what often happens 10 steps down the line is something that you can't anticipate. So I'd say the highest piece is the depth of our expertise on the team, and then the partnership, of course, is relevant in terms of helping to navigate your use of the product, as well as just kind of your relationship, you being the client, relationship with the vendor.
That's awesome. So when you're talking about navigating the relationship with the partner and with the client and whatnot, I want to talk a little bit about you navigating your journey with Definitive Results. Go off a little bit off script here, but what has been, over these last 10 years, your biggest challenge of operating this business, Definitive Results?
I think one of the scariest things was bringing on new team members. So initially, it sort of felt like Definitive Results was Carly Schrager. And because for a while it was. And when you bring on a new team member and you need to send them out on their own to a client, I just, they have to treat the client the way that I would treat the client, right? And I have high expectations for myself, and so I do for my team. And the scariest thing was sending somebody else out to represent our name and hold my breath that they uphold all of the values that, I feel are incredibly important to Definitive Results' success.
And you've obviously put together an incredible team over these last few years, and it's been an exciting journey for you. What has been your favorite part of the Definitive Results journey?
My favorite part, I think, finding our team, the team that we have today. There's a lot of learning and growing. The company was growing and changing, and we just have an outstanding team who represents the values that I feel so strongly about, and they live it day in and day out. And seeing also that they share the same passion and curiosity that I do. And I love hearing on our team calls and just, one-off conversations where people are debating which platform is the best or what's the coolest feature, or it's so awesome to hear people who have the passion about this topic, where even in the general world of marketing, people aren't going to kind of geek out with you on these topics, but we've got an awesome group of really smart people who love to talk about this stuff, and to get to work in that environment every day is so great.
Yeah, so you've put together this awesome team, love working with them, and hopefully you get to work with them for years to come. What does the future of Definitive Results look like for you?
Interesting. So, of course, it was a big transition. If you look back to the beginning, I was consulting. I was on site with clients. I was getting all of that work done, along with 100 other hats that I was wearing. Now with the 10 years of experience, the team has taken on a lot of those responsibilities. So I am on site with clients. Well, we're all on site with clients a lot less right now, but on site with clients a lot less, and in the systems hands-on a lot less as well. But it's been really interesting and exciting to sort of take on that CEO role, think about the strategy of the company, think about the industry as a whole. Where has it been? Where is it going? In the next year or two, what does it look like? But what does it look like in the next 5 years or 10 years? And this industry was so young when I got into it that it is constantly evolving, and it's not sort of settled down, and I don't see it settling down.
Yeah, totally agree with that. I think that as more people learn about marketing automation as well, it's just going to become more and more relevant and more popular, and people are going to need more and more help.
Absolutely.
So I want to wrap this up with a question looking back 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
If you could time travel back 10 years with all this experience you have now, what would you tell Carly in 2012, now that you have this experience 10 years in the making of Definitive Results? What would you tell yourself 10 years ago about getting this journey started?
I think I would tell myself, I actually just thought about this the other day. I would tell myself, it's going to be okay. You're gonna have ups and downs. You're going to hit bumps in the road, but you're sticking to your values, you're following your passion, you're taking care of your clients and your people, and it's going to go just fine. So just ride the ride. And the other thing I think is, this is a really important lesson too, that you can't fast forward the learning, and you can't fast forward the growth, not to do it the way that I think it needs to be done. I think we've gotten to where we've gotten to because we've taken the time to learn and do things right. And that's sort of a hard lesson to grasp when you're at the beginning and you just want to know how to fast forward and how to get to the other side.
Yeah, well, Carly, thank you so much. It was such a great talk today, and I love that you've had this successful 10 years. Congratulations once again on 10 years at Definitive Results, and look forward to talking with you again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.